What it means to be alone. So, what it means to be alone is the boy realizing that although he's in a platoon and there's a full army, he's emotionally alone. That most of the faces he sees on a day-to-day are dead bodies. And that the people he sees are just empty shells of the people they were because of the atrocities they've seen in war. And this is just a more emotional piece. Where the boy and his platoon, like near the end, they get into like a bomb fight and they hide. And it's quiet. And after the bombs stop going off, it's quiet until they hear heavy machinery. Song 4, The Tank. I wonder what that heavy machinery was, right?
Oh, just a lumber mill nearby.
So, they see the tank, and the song is basically like, what do we do? And they're like, and his platoon's like, we're gonna fight. And the boy goes, fuck that, I'm running away. And the rest of his platoon died, and he runs like a pussy. That's the tank. The boy's a pussy.
Can you blame him, though? Like, I don't think I could.
So the next song, The Thief. The boy, after he runs away... Or no, sorry, I skipped a song. Holy shit. My notepad document. The Poison Woman. So the boy runs into the wood and finds a shack, right? And the shack is home to the Poison Woman, who does not take any sides of the war, but what she does is for anyone who comes into her house from either side, if she knows that they are there with intent of taking advantage of her, she poisons their food and takes enjoyment in them dying powerless.
That's cool.
But
hashtag chill vibes in here.
But so she sees the boy, but she doesn't poison the boy, and she tells him directly that she sees a lot of pain in his eyes, but not pain from the war. It's the pain of love lost, which is like the biggest thing, right? So it's the pain of love lost. It's not the pain of the war, which is what's affecting the boy. So she takes pity on the boy, and she doesn't lie to him about anything. She doesn't try and poison him. She gives him a vial of the poison she uses to kill people and says, if this war ever becomes too much for you, use this. She does not lie. She doesn't pussyfoot around what it is. She literally says, this will help you escape your pain if this becomes too much for you.
Oh.
The boy leaves. So add a little poison vial to your inventory. That's important. Now with the thief. Now I'm back in order. So the boy leaves her house and is wandering through the woods and gets lost. And he encounters a thief looting the bodies from both sides, just looting dead bodies, right? The boy asks for direction from the thief, and the thief is like, yeah, your whole platoon is fucking that way, and like knows where they are. But the boy decides he's gonna camp out for the knife, and that the thief joins him. So they just camp out for it, and they spend a good majority of their the night discussing morality. And this boy's whole thing is that like it's disrespectful to steal from the dead, but the thief's whole thing is that war is devoid of morals, and it's all about survival. And that if he needs to steal from the dead to survive, then that's what he's gonna do. So the song is just like a big morality debate, more or less. All right, next song, number 7, Mustard Gas.
First off, what a title. God, the more you like, Mustard Gas is terrifying.
So right before the boy's about to leave, the thief just tells him that he needs to cross a battlefield to get back to his camp. Like, you gotta cross this battlefield. Good luck. So the boy literally just Usain bolts through the battlefield, bullets whizzing, bombs going off. Eventually, boy hits a cloud of mustard gas. falls into a ditch. And while he's in the ditch, he sees enemies walking over the ditch wearing gas masks. The boy passes out. But as he's passing out, he realizes he made it far enough to his side where his allies can save him. So as he's laying there, like, slowly fading, he's like, you know what? The pain from this war is too much. The pain from misleading is too much. I'm just going to close my eyes and let myself fucking die in this pit. As his eyes are closing, someone picks him up. This person looks exactly like him. Literally identical. That is probably the most important point for the next two out. They look identical.
Okay.
This man is referred to as the Son, the man that saved him. The Son and the boy become friends. Because the Son brings the boy back to the camp, and that's everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, the next song, he said he had a story, right? So, they're sitting by a campfire, and the leader of the squadron is telling his tale of a night at the dime where he brutalized one of the prostitutes for his own enjoyment. Right?
Yeah.
We learn that that's the leader of the squadron, who is the general, brutalized Miss Terry.
Ah, okay.
And through deductive reasoning, which happens in the next song, we learn so the Miss Terry and the general are the boy's father and mother, and the son tells. So the boy doesn't tell this to anyone, but the son tells the boy that the general is his father. So the son and the boy are half brother.
Mm-hmm.
So the boy happens to find his biological father and his half brother in his platoon through stroke of luck or clever oracle placement.
Yeah.
So that's that. So this beautiful life is the boy everything I just told you, it's him piecing it together in his head that his mom was the prostitute. Well, he knew his mom was a fucking prostitute. But that the father, the general is his father, the son is his half brother, and he's putting everything together, but he's embarrassed to tell people that the prostitute was his mother, and that is related. So he keeps it to himself, and he starts to weigh on what the oracles told him and how he should turn back. And this is not going to the city the first time, or not going to the war. Now he finally realizes he should have listened to the oracles, but it's too late to go back. So him and his squadron press on to another battle. Next song, Go Get Your Gun. So this song is the soldiers relaxing at a bar, just singing like old tunes, and like the general is with them and they're all singing, but it's basically the boy sitting at the end of the bar just watching his father being like, what a scummy fucking human being. It's that the whole time.
Huh.
It's like the whole platoon is singing like old war songs and like through sacrifice will prevail, and it's the boy sitting at the end of the bar being like, I fucking hate this piece of shit human being. So like that's that song. That's Go Get Your Gun. So, next song, Son. The boy and the son are fighting in the trenches side by side. One of the barriers of their trench gets broken and the enemy invades. And a bunch of people shoot at the father, but the son jumps in the way. The boy tries to call for a medic to like save his half-brother. But the general is like, fucking forget about him. We need to go. So the boy tries to console his half-brother. And his half-brother's like, my mom is going to be heartbroken if I pass. And he knew that his father never loved him. So he knew that his father never loved him. And he only joined the military to get approval from his father, which he still never got, even in his dying moments.
This guy seems like a chill dude.
And so the boy is like speechless over his body. In the son's final words, he looks at him and goes, "You look like me," and that's the end of that song. And the son passes away in the trenches. So, Father, the next song, the boy realizes how much even more of a piece of shit the father is. He doesn't have any morals. He doesn't care about his family, and he takes pride in his vices, which are drinking and like using prostitutes. So what the boy does, the boy takes the vial of poison he got from the poison woman and poisons the general in his sleep, realizing that the enemy he was sent to war to kill was not the actual enemy, but his scumbag of a father.
Okay.
So he kills the father, and that's the last of his family. So life and death. The soldiers learn of the father's death, right? And the boy takes up the identity of the son and says that the boy died on the battlefield and that he's the son. So he switched the characters.
Okay.
So he's like, no.
So
he's like,
Hunter is posing as his half brother.
Hunter is just posing as his half brother who's dead, and Hunter is saying that he is dead, but he's not.
Mm-hmm.
So Hunter decides he's gonna finish out the war. He's gonna go home to his half brother's mom, pretend he is his half brother, and just live out the life he didn't get to live because Miss Terry died when he was so young.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end of Act 3. He makes up his mind. He is now the son. So Rebirth is the little interlude at the beginning where the oracles return to basically say the boy is now the son.
Goodbye.
And that the boy believes he can relive his time with Miss Terry through the new mother to escape the bitterness from his old life, to relive anew. And that's Rebirth. The Old Haunt is the first real song of the album. It is the boy returning home, recounting the pain and the suffering of the war, and how he had a lot of pain and suffering outside the war, and that like his time with his he didn't spend enough time with his real mother, or that there wasn't enough time because she
Heavens,
died.
she was already dead.
Yeah. And then he recounts his time with Miss Leading, and that he actually recounts it fondly at this point. But he's like, you know what? I have to cast this all aside. I'm coming home as my half brother, and I'm gonna be a war hero, and this is the life I need to embrace, to put my life aside to live the life I want, that I can finally live. Waves. So Waves is the boy on the ship heading home, and it's basically him replaying the love he felt for Miss Leading over and over again, and basically just being like, what a waste. This was such a waste of my time. But no matter how hard he tries to forget, he can't. And also while he's doing this, he's a little paranoid that the boat's gonna sink, which is why, like, you know, at the end of the line, or like at the end, like I thought that the ship was sinking, and I was like fixing my hair with the kerosene or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like paranoid the boat's gonna sink and that he's not gonna make it home.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever.
Ugh, that song is so sad.
So the end of the earth, the boy returns to the mother and begins living with her again. But she knows it's not her son. She knows her son never came home from the war. But she is in hard denial that it's not her son. She knows it's not, but she's trying to not. So he's trying to relive his memories of Miss Terry and like relive his life. But this other mother falls ill. And he's like, I can't relive the life I used to have because she's gonna die too, and then what the fuck am I gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, it's over. So remembered, the next song, the mother passes away. And the boy spreads her ashes across the wall. He says his farewell to his mother, and it's also like a symbolic goodbye to Miss Terry, and he wonders if she's watching.
Mm-hmm.
That like just watching, if she's been watching since he passed. But this song ends with the boy basically going, all right, the only thing I have left is to honor the life of my half brother, and that's what I'm gonna do. So that's that. So now we're at a night on the town. Whew. So the boy makes it back to the city after a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
The boy gets kidnapped upon arriving to the city. But not like... He gets kidnapped by a couple of the son's friends, right? When they find out that the son has returned to the city.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, dude, your fiance is going to be so excited that you're finally back. And in his head, he's like, oh, fuck, I have a fiance?
Yeah. Nate.
So he gets...
Yeah.
So he gets drunk with them, and while he's drinking, he's just telling himself that he's like, do they know that I'm not him? Do they know? He's like, I'm never gonna tell them, but do they know?
Yeah. Also, this part's really hard. I keep dying here.
So
Oh no.
they get out of the bar and they're wandering the city, and he is having a hard time celebrating the end of the war because he knows he's like assuming a stolen identity. And he's like, I can't enjoy myself because I am lying about who I am. Then, do you remember near the end of that song, there is a callback in a different key to the beginning of Bittersweet Part 1?
I believe so, but I don't recall.
Oh, where is it? A Night on the Town. At about 6:40, there's a callback. It is...
Snakes, I'll send you a playlist that has the entirety of what we're currently discussing.
So at 6 minutes and 40 seconds, there's a callback. It is in a different key, and the notes are different, and the words are different, but it's sonically very similar. The boy sees misleading in the city again after all these years. He sees her, and he is so taken by emotion that he passes out in the street, but she never sees him.
That's a mood.
So is anybody there, or is there anybody there? The boy is taken somewhere, and he's making love to someone who, in his drunken head, he believes is misleading. And it opens up the wound of emotion that he's feeling, and everything comes rushing out. But at the end, he realizes he's not having sex with misleading, but with his fake fiance, who we never learn her name. She's just fiance. Squeaky Wheel, song number 8. The fiance. This song is from the perspective of the fiance. And she's like, yo, this guy is completely different from when he left for the war. And they're just walking around the city hand in hand. And she's like, did the war change him so much? Like, I do not feel love coming from him towards me. So like near the end of the song, she's like, you're not my fiance, and he's like, no, I am. I am.
Then shall we begin, Ben?
Yikes.
But at the end, she's like torn because like she's still pretty sure it's not her fiance, but she sees how broken the boy is, and she also sees like how similar they look, and she's like kind of willing to like live in the lie of it for a little bit because she's like, he needs me emotionally, whoever this is. So that's like a oof. But so that's a squeaking wheel. Bittersweet parts 4 and 5. The congregation and the sermon in the silt. So the congregation.
Please.
Yeah, basically. So the congregation is the fiance and the boy go into a mass, and they see how hopeless and devoid these people are, and they see what's the word?
The priest.
So the boy sees the pimp and the priest, but he's only now the priest because the dime has closed because of the war, because all the men from the city left to fight in the war. So he's only the priest right now. The boy does not make the connection of who the pimp and the priest is, but he's like, I fucking recognize you from somewhere. But he doesn't put one and one together yet. Bittersweet part 5, the sermon in the silt. The priest starts his sermon stating that the sinners can only be saved by him and his church, and can only be saved with the more money they contribute to the churches. There's, according to him, a direct correlation to the more money you give me, the more chance of your soul being saved. So he's still.
I hate that I've seen this somewhere in the real world.
So he's still a sham, right?
Yeah.
So he's basically standing, walking around, being like, "Put your money in this hat, and the more money you put in, the closer you'll be to being saved." Blah blah blah, so on and so forth.
If only that's what he was actually saying.
So, Bittersweet 4, Abandon. The
6, you mean?
That is 6. Wow, 6. Yes. Thank you. The fiance tells the boy that he should do a confessional. That he should do a confessional with the priest, and the boy agrees. So the boy does the confessional, and in a moment of vulnerability, he tells the priest everything about all the atrocities in the war, about his stolen identity. The priest, who is also the pimp, recognizes the boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the priest is like, so the priest decides, and this is, we'll get explained more, that he can long con the boy and to be a puppet for his own plans. So he decides to like lie to the boy and say like, you have a good heart, you have a good spirit, and you need to use these gifts for good, and you need to like help people. But you have to remember, this is all like a sham. Yeah, I saw you miss that, Perry. You fucking stink.
Well, I got parried. That's the thing.
Oh. So he encourages the boy to like use these gifts for good, blah blah blah. The boy, inspired by the priest who doesn't realize he's being played, decides he's gonna run for mayor and clean up the city. And the priest, so the boy's like, I think I'm gonna run for mayor, and the priest is like, that's a good idea. And then the priest and the pimp and the priest is like, this can work in my favor. Right? So he's talking up the boy and making it more positive to use him as a pawn. next song, King of Swords reversed. So this
that
is
song
about
is so fun.
that's about like, so the fiance's father is like a high standing figure in the city, and between his popularity and the priest pushing the boy as a candidate, and everyone learning that the boy is who they think is the son is a war hero, they're basically like, this song is all about like him getting boosted, like his popularity for like running for mayor, right?
Goddamn boosted
Simple.
lobbies.
If all goes well,
Do we need a medic?
so if all goes well, is like the boy starts to use like very, very sketchy methods to get rid of his opponents to guarantee his win. And the fiance's like, look, you should try and do this fair and square. You need to stop like cheating your way to victory. And the boy's like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna fucking win. Election ends, boy wins. The boy is the new mayor of the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all the people in the city who think so highly of him, like, this boy will lead us to a new Eden almost, right? The line. So Misleading catches wind of who the new mayor is, and she realizes it's the boy. So she goes to see him. They meet again after 6 years, I think the time jump was here.
I just got a 1% drop.
Nice. What, the whole like cleric suit?
No, the flamberge. It's
Nice.
not good, but I've literally never gotten it to drop.
So the line, it's basically them talking and confessing like their bitterness and their sadness, and the boy like not being able to not deny his feelings for her no matter how hard he's tried for the past couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And like between the election and everything and how strained and distant his relationship is with the fiance, he acknowledges to Misleading that he needs to keep this fake persona up because it's his only chance of living the life he's wanted since he was a kid with Miss Terry. This is the next song, 14. Wait. Is still Misleading and the boy talking, and it's them talking about like the sins they've committed on like a personal level, and like a cathartic release of them talking about it and acknowledging the wrongs they've done and everything. And the boy sees chance of redemption in Misleading, and like the end of the song is the boy wondering like what's gonna happen to both of them in the afterlife. Then Ouroboros. So the boy is the mayor, and he's getting down to business. So the boy's first plan. Oh, I missed the fact where between the line and wait, Misleading gives the boy the scoopy about the pimp and the priest, right? So like he knows. So the boy's first plan is to expose the pimp and the priest, burn down the fucking dime, and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
While he's sitting in his office, planning this, the pimp and the priest walks in, right? The pimp and the priest goes, I know what you've done. I know who you are. You're an illegitimate child of some man and Miss Terry. You had a thing with Misleading, and you are not who you say you are. And the boy's like, fuck, he knows. So the pimp and the priest, they strike a deal. So the pimp and the priest, the deal is, the boy turns a blind eye to the church and the dime, and allows the pimp and the priest to continue with his shady business, and that the pimp and the priest will keep the boy's secret identity hidden. And the boy reluctantly agrees. And the song ends with the boy dwelling on what the oracles told him at the beginning of Act 2, and how he never should have strayed from home. And he realizes how far he's gone, and that he left the lake and the river, and that he can never go back because of what's happened. And that's the end of Act 4. And now, we get to Act 5. The climax of the story. Act 5. Hymns with the Devil in Confession. The oracles return for one final time. Regress, part 1.
Yep.
Telling the boy that they have done all they could. They have met with him every time they could, issue him a warning to stop him from doing what he has done. And that all they've wanted is to have the boy avoid pain and suffering. But no matter how hard they've tried, they have failed. They leave telling the boy that there is nothing left. He is beyond help. There is nothing they can do. And they hope that his end is swift and painless. And they leave, and we don't hear from them again. Song number 2, which is 2 parts, The Moon/Awake. The moon, the boy, who's now the mayor, succumbs to the vice